Planet Dolan.
From vomiting in a bully's face to a guy ramming a car with his belly, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest things we've seen happen in a fight. I'm Hellbent, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Poro Stomper. One night, Nixion was walking home when he heard two guys having a dumb argument just outside a block of apartments. Nixion didn't want to get involved, so he kept his distance. Then, in the space of 5 seconds, the fight went from a shouting match to gunshots. One of the guys had pulled out a pistol and was firing it at the other guy's feet while screaming, "Dance till you're dead!" like some kind of cowboy. This kind of thing never happens in Nixion's neighborhood, so at that point he decided to turn around and find another way home. Number 9 was submitted by Haha Kitty 455. When Ramona was in the 5th grade, she saw an older popular boy pick a fight with a young wimpy kid. Ramona and her friends were passing in the hallway when they saw the older boy push his victim into a corner. He then started punching and kicking him and calling him names. The young wimpy kid was begging for him to stop, but this only made him hit harder. Eventually, the fight got so intense that the young boy nervously threw up all over the bully. Everyone laughed, and the bully stood there in shock. This gave the wimpy kid an opportunity to escape, so in a weird way it was like the perfect defense mechanism. Number 8 was submitted by Naka Ninja. One day, Salty Squid was walking home from school. About halfway home, there was an agility training course. He noticed two guys there with their dogs, and all of a sudden, one dog started humping the other dog. The two guys managed to separate them, but then came the blame game. After yelling at each other for a while, they started fighting. As they were trading punches, they didn't realize that the dogs were at it again. Number 7 was submitted by Blooming Brave Wolf 345. One time, Gurgak and his dad went for a drive to a farm. When they got there, they saw two guys in parked cars having an argument. They started shouting at each other, and one of them, a fat guy, got out of his car. He looked really mad. Gurgak thought he was gonna punch the other guy in the face. Instead of that, the fat guy lifted his shirt to expose his huge belly. He held his big belly with two hands and then charged at the other guy's car, slamming into it like a walrus hitting a rock. Gurgak's dad went and broke up the fight, while Gurgak sat there thinking, "Oh my god, that's the weirdest shit I've ever seen!" Number 6 was submitted by Gray Silvermane. In high school, Tolop had two classmates that were always wrestling. Once at recess, Tolop watched them go from pushing each other's hands away to throwing each other around and trying to put each other into submission. Unfortunately, the school principal happened to walk around the corner right as they finally took each other down. They not only bumped him, but literally steamrolled over him, knocking the poor old guy on his ass. They were sure they were going to get suspended for fighting, but instead the principal just stood up, smiled, fixed his suit, and told them to have a good day. Tolop's jaw was dropped the whole time. Talk about the chillest principal ever. Number 5 was submitted by Hex Girl, Heir of Hope. When Pandora was in high school, she and her friends used to buy snacks from a nearby grocery store during recess. One day, they were in the parking lot just outside of the grocery store when two of Pandora's friends started fighting. The two girls were hitting each other so hard that one of them fell to the ground. Pandora was about to stop them when suddenly this huge muscular grocery store employee came rushing over shouting. He scooped up Pandora's friend from the floor and held her upside down while he separated them. Then when they were a few feet away from each other, he flipped Pandora's friend in the air and she landed back on her feet. He then gave the girls a big lecture about why they shouldn't fight. By the end of it, Pandora's friends were laughing too hard to be angry anymore. Number 4 was submitted by Viva Ava 468. When Ladybot was in the 4th grade, she saw two kids get into a fight about crayons. At first, they were pushing each other and snatching crayons from each other's hands. But then one kid took it about 10 levels too far and started strangling the other kid to death. The teacher had stepped out of the room for a few minutes, so the other kids in the class were encouraging them, yelling,
"Fight, fight, fight."
By the time the teacher returned, the strangled kid's face had turned purple. 2 fourth graders murdering each other over crayons is still the most hardcore thing Ladybot has ever seen. Number 3 was submitted by Snowdrop the Unicorn. One time in high school, Snoopy went to the bathroom and saw 2 girls arguing over a boy. The arguing turned into shouting, and then they started pulling each other's hair and pinching each other's arms. Snoopy thought they were gonna start throwing punches, when all of a sudden one of the girls leaned in close and kissed the other on the lips. Snoopy decided to walk out slowly and gave them some privacy, even though she still really needed to use the bathroom. A week later, Snoopy saw these 2 walking around school holding hands and kissing. They actually became a couple after their weird kiss in the middle of a fight. Number 2 was submitted by Funnyman647. One time, when Dolan was out late at night, he saw a bus parked on the side of the road with its hazard lights on. He went over to investigate and saw 2 men having a fist fight inside of the bus. The driver and the other passengers were freaking out trying to get these dangerous men off the bus. Dolan watched them team up and perform a citizen's arrest. He offered to help, but they just said, "Nah, we have this under control!" They dragged the dangerous men into a nearby police station. The police were very surprised to see a mob of bus passengers take justice into their own hands. What's the weirdest thing I've seen happen in a fight? One time I saw a rodeo clown do a headfirst dive over a pool table, land on his feet, and punch a guy in the face. I've never seen a human body move like that, but I guess when you play with bulls all day, you kinda learn how to move quick. Thinking about it, I wouldn't mess with any clown. They probably deal with abuse on a daily basis, so they're probably tough people. I still don't have any idea why that fight started, but I did get to see a clown punch a guy in the face, so that was a good day. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's the weirdest habit that you have? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below and you might be featured in a future countdown. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.